Hey guys, Sleepy Reader in the car. I haven't done a car video in a long time, I don't think. This is going to be, I guess, a really late New Comic Book Day haul and showing a few back issues I got and just chatting about some things, mostly what I chatted about with my comic book store owner, I guess. Last night, I'm trying to continue the the daily videos and obviously slowly slipping away from it. I think the night before last, I was too busy from something and then just too tired. Last night I said, even though I'm tired, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to do a video, and I did a screenshot video, showing my screen on my computer and talking about some things on there. And I was really sleepy, and when I finished the video, I discovered it was like an hour and 50 minutes long. So, and it was very drony and stuff, and it was a subject maybe I should have talked about for 20 minutes, 25 at the most. So I will try to redo that at some point. This is not an apology, but just sort of letting you know what my goof ups are like. And I actually uploaded it privately. I actually chopped it in half, and I uploaded the first half of it privately just so I could try listening to it. And I listened to it, and I couldn't get through it myself. And I love myself, and I couldn't get through it. But I think it was an interesting thing. So kind of a nostalgia thing, looking back at the first 10 years of Marvel Comics. So I will try to get to that this coming weekend. Today's Friday. I'm in the parking lot of the mall, and we'll see how demanding family life is on me this weekend. And then, of course, there'll be Thanksgiving and the long Thanksgiving weekend, and I don't know whether I'll have time to keep doing the daily videos or not. I actually have a list with about 7 current ideas of things I wanted to do. Some of them are stuff I've been trying to do for the past week or two, but I wanted, like, 2 that I wanted to take tons of screenshots off of my iPad and then make a narrative over it, and actually doing all the screenshots and getting them in order and figuring out how to get my iPad to put them in order rather than keep putting them in the order that they were shot in is been a pain in the butt. But anyway, so that's just to say I'm still in theory doing daily videos. I'm still striving towards that goal. For some reason, I enjoy setting myself a goal, and I've been thinking a lot about quitting my job. And if I ever do, I suppose maybe I'll have less of a drive to do videos because I'll be doing other things. But right now, the videos are like my personal outlet instead of, at work where I'm just doing exactly what other people want me to. And, in the home life, it always feels like you're ruled by the family rather than by your own decisions too. And each family member probably feels like they're ruled by other people's decisions. So that's how that goes. When I was in my shop the other day, it's funny, maybe my orneriness, my shop owner had just read this Garth Ennis book about animals that survived the zombie apocalypse, and he was really telling me how great it was. And I was like, should I buy this? I forget what it's called. What is it called? Probably a lot of you guys out there know what it is, and I don't remember the name. It was in a trade. He was talking how great the art was, and I was flipping through, and it looked very digitally art to me. But I might eventually get that. But so in my orneriness, I then started looking through his box of recently acquired back issues, and I grabbed some Bronze and Silver Age, a few Bronze and Silver Age Marvel comics. Marvel Silver and Bronze Age has been big on my mind lately, and I paid a little more than I should have because his prices are high, but I do get my 25% discount from my pull list, also applied to the back issues. But I love this 15-cent issue period. For some reason, I have a fascination with it since I came in at the tail end of I came in right when the 20-cent period began at Marvel. So I got Trapped in Doom's Land, Thor 183, It's gonna be Stan Lee and Buscema. So I was excited by that. And right now I'm looking at letters pages eagerly. So I look forward to, I'm probably going to do another video of just letter pages from Silver and early Bronze Age Marvel sometime soon. Because I just really enjoy doing that. You know, whether I'll get many viewers on there, doesn't really matter. I got this, I don't know why I'm taking them all out of there. I got this Thor End of Infinity. I hope I didn't already buy this one. It wasn't in my CLZ, but I think I have other issues in this sort of Infinity storyline, which is also by Stan Lee and John Buscema. This one is more kind of yellowed. I guess this is not one of these. I was a little bummed by. I probably should return it, but I'm kind of lazy on that. Yeah, it was this Avengers, which was the most expensive of the comics I bought. Its sticker price was $20, so I guess I paid $15 whole for it. Avengers 91. It's kind of part of the lead up to the Kree-Skrull War. And the cover, well, it's one of those covers that's not properly, wrapped or whatever, but it's in really kind of perfect, or for me, for the kinds of things I collect, in much better condition than what I normally get. But then on the inside, someone wrote an M on the first page, and for me, somehow that kind of ruins it. That really bothers me. I don't know why. So maybe I should return this, or maybe I'll just live with it. Wait, is there a letter page here? Oh yeah, just a one page. I'm always happier when there's a 2-page letter page. Not sure why. So anyway, yeah, this is definitely part of the Kree-Skrull War. And then last and probably least, I got this Daredevil and Black Widow. Was that forced diversity when their Daredevil, a man, had his own comic, and then they added in a female? Probably because Daredevil by himself didn't have very good sales, or were they trying to just force diversity on their readers? It's written by Chris Claremont, so that's interesting. This must be very early Chris Claremont. And the penciling, apparently, is by Sid Shores, and I only remember him as an inker, so I never knew he did pencils. And inking by Frank Giacoa, who did a lot of inking in the old Marvel days. Looks like Sid Shores does a perfectly fine, nothing particularly exciting, but a perfectly fine job penciling. And it's got this jewelry ad in the middle. Did only some copies have jewelry ads in the middle? Or did they all have these jewelry ads in the middle? Some copies of the particular issues. But this has no letters page. I nearly cried. It has an ad instead. And I wonder, does that mean they didn't get enough interesting letters that month? Or were they just really eager to advertise their new horror magazines? Also, the advertisement for Foom. I had no memory of what it cost me to become a member of Foom, and I guess it was $2.50. I wonder if that included a year's subscription to the quarterly magazine. A full year's subscription to our fantastic new Foom magazine. A membership card. A full-color poster. I had that full-color Jim Steranko poster, and I have no idea what happened to it. My favorite thing was, I think that it came in an envelope that was the Hulk drawn by Jim Steranko and the Hulk's mouth was open, and in the Foom membership envelope, and and my address was in the Hulk's mouth. So anyway, I'm getting kind of psyched for. I think I'm going to be reading a lot of old Marvel in my back issue reading the coming month or so. So, and now here's the new issues I got. At least one of them was something that I was shorted on earlier. So I got Kid Lobotomy 2. I think I'm just reading this to be cool because I didn't get a lot out of issue 1. I mean, I got something out of it, but it didn't grab me personally. Like, it was interesting to view on an intellectual level, but maybe it'll grab me more later as it moves on. I'm real psyched to get another issue of Curse Words, although Curse Words covers are going downhill. But the story has been really revving up. The 3rd issue of The Bat and the Cat, Rules of Engagement. Wonder how long this particular arc's supposed to be. I suppose normally they'd be 6 issues. So we'll see. Gonna find out who wins in a cat fight between Talia and Selena. I'm pretty psyched for the next issue of Holy Grail. The kind of demonic... Ooh, that looks kind of intense. Oh, first I flipped to a page with someone being burnt alive. Then I flipped a little further back and got a sex scene. So I guess the one kind of question mark... I'm enjoying Aftershock books quite a lot, but the copyrights are only owned by the writers, and I do feel like maybe we have competent but less committed artists to this than you might get, on an image book like Curse Words and such. Oh, speaking of committed artists, maestros with the incredibly worked on art, but in a positive way, of Steve Scroce, and he's doing the writing too, and he seems to be a perfectly good writer. I assume this is just going to be a miniseries, but they have not said. We'll see, the issue 2. And Superman. It still bugs me the way they put the S at the end. Supermans on the Superman Family Comics. I wonder, you may have heard in the news that Eddie Berganza, the head editor of the Superman group of comics, has finally been canned after years and years of on and off again rumors and complaints about his treatment of women. So I wonder if we'll see any radical changes. I'm hoping particularly to see Supergirl get good again. Supergirl's just been really weak in my opinion, and I have a certain member in my household who loves Supergirl so much. It would be nice to have a Supergirl we could read together and enjoy. There's kind of a strange Aquaman cover compared to most of them. Is this still Sejic on the art? So I assume he did the cover too. Yeah, he did the cover too. Anyway, I'm very happy that the creative team of Abnett and Sejic is still on here, because this has been excellent. What have we got here? Oh, Mech Cadet U. I like Mech Cadet U, but Quacking Duck, my daughter, loves Mech Cadet U, so she's going to be real excited to read this. And also for both of us to read Not Brand Ek, the one-shot number 14 in the Marvel Legacy. I guess there were 13 issues of Not Brand Ek in its original run back in, when was that? Was that like about 1969, 1970? I've read a few issues of Not Brand Ek recently and really loved them. I thought they were really funny and really good. The art here is not going to live up to Mary Severin's old Not Brand Ek art. Other people worked on Not Brand Ek too. But yeah, that's too bad. The cover's pretty good. And I'm jumping on Future Quest again. I had been thinking I would get it in trade. It looks like maybe they're doing 3-issue arcs, and I think... So this one is art by Ron Randall, which looks quite good to me. And coming up, the next arc after that will be Steve Rude, so I thought I'll just put this on my pull list and not wait for trade again. And then a damaged copy of Bug by Michael Allred. But I decided not. I noticed that when I got home. I guess if I return the back issue, I could return this too and ask for a better copy. art looks great. This is a real mixed bag because the art is great and the script is just kind of okay. That was a lot of dialogue. That was a bunch of amusing dialogue, but I don't really care kind of script. I see OMAC in here, so that makes me happy. So I just chat every other Wednesday or so. I kind of have a longish chat with my my shop owner, because the shop's only somewhere between 2 and 3 years old. I think it's closer to 2. And for only half of that time has he been selling, it must be close to 3 then. Anyway, for his first year, he didn't even sell new comics. He just sold back issues. And he got his start as a back issue dealer, and then he started this store. And then people would pop in from the neighborhood and say, hey, do you have new comics? So he started getting new comics. And he's always been struggling with how to sell new comics. And then he started getting trades and stuff. I can't remember if he got the new comics or the trades first. And now he's wanting to get a store that gets more foot traffic. He's in a fairly popular area, but he feels he's across the street from the block that really gets the foot traffic. And it makes me think maybe he should get a bigger sign. But anyway, he's looking at, and every retail space is really expensive in our hot, happening Portland. But he's looking for a place for even more foot traffic. So he had to put in a proposal to a place that had some space, which will be near lots of restaurants and boutique stores, just a few more blocks away from my house. I wonder, like, I said, hey, you probably have more families come in on the weekends because people go out for lunch or dinner and bring their kids sometimes. And he said, yeah, I might be selling a completely different line of stuff if I move there. So that made me wonder, like, what kind, how would his shop change? I assume I'd still be able to get new comics there. But so interesting to just think about how the retailer is constantly juggling his location, how much money everything costs and all of that. And on the application, they wanted him to have a big cash reserve. And he said, well, all my cash is in my stock, in my comics. So he doesn't know if he'll get this new spot. So that was just one thing we were talking about. So anyway, I think my point is that I like talking with him about the business of comic book store retailing. For whatever reason that interests me. I once had a fantasy, before I realized Portland had too many comic book shops, of maybe opening a store that was just graphic novels and an art gallery for comic book art, because I wouldn't have the skill to deal with back issues and all of that. And I just thought that with a lot of people in Portland, I just thought would like graphic novels. Maybe the people who aren't the hardcore comic book people might like graphic novels and might be interested in comic book art as a new hip kind of thing. But anyway, that's just why one of the reasons why I like to hear about what the comic book business is like. But so then we were talking about trades. Like, he tried to sell me this one trade, and instead I bought back issues. But he said he had just read volume 1 of Sandman, and he said that Sandman is like number 13 in his best-selling trades, but unlike, and he mentioned Y the Last Man, and he mentioned Lumberjanes, and he mentioned Deadly Class, and one other. He said, unlike those other ones, which are perennial bestsellers for him, on those ones, people buy the first volume, and about 50% of them come back and buy the next volume and the next volume. But on Sandman, all he sells is volume 1 of Sandman, which I think is that one, Preludes and Nocturnes or something. And I said to him that I thought if you don't have to read all of Sandman in a row, and that you probably want to read A Doll's House and you want to read Seasons in the Mist. So I'm wondering if, like, back when I first picked up Sandman with the first trade of Sandman that they came out with, which was A Doll's House, and then I got on the individual issues. But back then they didn't publish trades of everything, and they thought that this Dollhouse story really deserves a book, so they put that out. I wonder how many older things that aren't published with knowing about trade republication so much are hurt by people starting with volume 1, because volume 1 might not be where it got good. Like, say you want to read Daredevil, where it gets good is volume 1 of Frank Miller, I suppose. Frank Miller's run on Daredevil, and even there you really want to start with the first issue Frank Miller wrote. Certainly, like, say you wanted to read the best of Batman, but you felt you had to start with the Golden Age and work your way up, you'd be reading a huge amount of discouraging stuff. But anyway, I thought that was interesting about Sandman. So people are coming in and they hear Sandman's really great, they buy volume 1, and they never come back and buy other volumes. What else did he tell me? Maybe that's all this time around.